All right, welcome everybody into WDSR Duquesne Student Radio. I'm Christian Bartoletti, along with my co-host Ben Gianetta on this lovely Wednesday, November 6th, coming at you live at the top of the 2 p.m. hour. It's a Wednesday, so you know what that means. Our weekly NFL rundown this week. Last week, Ben wants to continuously throw into my face he only missed 3 games. He's talked about it incessantly the past couple days I've been around him. Yay! 12 for 15, he said. So, if you were betting on him or betting with him, you made pretty good money on your week. But I think last week we didn't really disagree a whole lot. I said that before when we talked when we were playing basketball. I'm not sure how much we disagreed. I don't think it was much. And that's on team picks or team picks plus the over under.
Okay, let's see here. I think what we disagreed on. Okay, did you take the Rams over the Seahawks or did you take the Seahawks?
See, that's what's tough. I feel like I did take the Rams, but I don't remember.
Okay, I think you took. Did you take the Saints or Panthers? I think you took Panthers, right?
Probably.
Okay, so did I. And then I think you took the Titans and the legend himself, Mason Rudolph.
Yeah. I did.
We both took Texans though.
So I might have done better than you, is what the thought process.
Did you? I think you took the Browns over the Chargers, didn't you? I think you did.
Probably.
Yeah, that's where. Yeah, I got that one right.
We're probably around.
Didn't you say that the Broncos were going to beat the Ravens too?
I might have thrown that in there. But I did say that the Monday night game was going to be a lot closer than everyone else thought it was going to be, and it went into
I'm
overtime.
proud of my boy Baker.
Yeah,
very proud.
That was a decent game.
It's just whoever loses the coin toss to Patrick Mahomes, they just can't win. It's a curse.
And D-Hop, like I said,
kind of reminded people that he's D-Hop.
2 touchdowns. Yeah, it's a big game. But that was last week. So this week, jumping straight into the Thursday night Amazon Prime Video prime time Thursday night game, 8:15 set to kick off tomorrow night. AFC North matchup, which looms large for my fandom, but not necessarily you. You don't necessarily care too much about AFC North.
No, I do. It's a fun conference.
Yeah, and this is going to be a fun game. That's what I was trying to get at. Is that the last time these teams met they already played this year. Obviously, the game went into overtime. Lamar Jackson drove them down the field. They won the game
on that crazy botched snap, and then he picks it up and throws a touchdown.
Yeah. And it was high scoring, right? It was wasn't it in the 40s for both teams or something?
It was like 38, 35, something like that.
Something
it was still very high though.
Yep. Cincinnati is the underdogs here. They're plus 230, which is decently high.
I'm kind of disrespected with that 52.5 over/under. I feel like that's kind of low for these teams.
Yeah, I don't know. We've seen a lot. I feel like the normal range for most NFL games this year has been 48, 49, and if you get into the 50s, NFL's expecting a lot of scoring.
Mm-hmm.
I could see it here. I think I'm gonna ride the over. See, this is tough because I think that Joe Burrow gets the job done. I do. I think that you're gonna see an upset early.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm disagreeing with you here. I'm taking the Ravens. As much as I've been riding with the Bengals recently, and as much as I love their offensive firepower, their defense is atrocious. And as much as, the Ravens' pass defense is atrocious, I like, the Ravens' offense more than I like the Bengals because it's a whole lot more balanced.
That's what I was trying to think about, how much genuine impact Derrick Henry will have on this game. And it's obvious that he impacts every game that he ever has played in.
Yep.
But how much will he drive this Ravens team forward? Because he's having a crazy spurt, right? It's week after week he's rushing for 100 yards and a touchdown, maybe even 2. Obviously, I think he had 2 last week. He's had amazing games. But Trey Hendrickson coming off of his 4-sack game, he leads the NFL in sacks.
23 carries, 106 yards, 2 touchdowns against the Broncos.
Yeah. And the Broncos are and their Broncos defense has been getting a lot of credit this year for how good they have been.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Bengals defense has seen the Ravens a whole lot, and I think they understand the scheme and what the idea of what the team is trying to do. Now, the Ravens, of course, are a different team than they were. They got Trey White in the trade deadline. A lot of moves being made.
Yeah, they got Tre'Davious White.
Yeah, from the Rams.
That's such a mid move, but I don't mind it.
Yeah, so as we were saying before with Marlon Humphrey and not Mollett, excuse me. I think he's also on their team, but he's not someone to mention. And Wiggins, both of those corners have been producing at a very high level, and they've been very great in their entire career. Except obviously Wiggins is the rookie, but he's still great, and he's having
a ton of upside. He's just only gonna get better.
Yeah, and he's been playing good already. And then Kyle Hamilton is looking like one of the best safeties in the entire NFL. You could make an argument for him to be the best.
Yeah,
it's hard for me to give it to him, but
and plus you've got Roquan.
Right, and
we've talked about that middle of the field.
We've talked about how good this Ravens team is as a whole, but for some reason that pass defense led up 300 yards to Jameis Winston and lost to the Browns.
They gotta pick him off. Like those Ravens DBs were just dropping interceptions. Like there was that, I think I showed you that, where Kyle Hamilton drops the interception and then a play later he throws like a 60-yard bomb to Cedric Tillman.
Yeah, for the game.
Like it's like I'm not gonna. It's like if you're a box score merchant and you just look at it, you're like, wow, Jameis Winston kind of just torched that rate. No, like they should have picked him off 3 times.
Yeah, and there was a lot of drops, and especially even from the Ravens receivers.
They were dropping him too.
Yeah,
and that's
Lamar.
been that's been like a consistent thing throughout Lamar's career.
Yeah.
His receivers can't catch sometimes.
Yeah, and that's another big problem that happens in their offense a lot is just.
And
it should be good.
Yeah, and it's got to be such a blessing when that happens that you can literally just I'm gonna hand it off to Derrick Henry now.
Right.
So.
It really doesn't even make that much of a difference. Like you don't see as much as a fall off, but the Bengals, I think they have a lot of underrated guys. So obviously Hendrickson has been underrated his entire career.
Yeah,
he's starting.
He had a big game against the Raiders, didn't he? Like 4 sacks or something like that.
Yeah, so it was his career high, career high, 4 sacks. He leads the league now with 11. But they have guys like Logan Wilson and Pratt, who's another linebacker who's I think top 5 or top 10 in the league in tackles as well. And they have other cornerbacks like Awuzie and Hilton who have played really well. Joe Burrow coming off of a 5-touchdown game last week.
Which is kind of crazy that, we're just kind of expecting him to do this. It's like, that's not out of the ordinary for him anymore.
Right, but he threw 6 touchdowns technically if you count the pick 6. But just had to throw a little jab in there to Joe Burrow because, that's just what I have to do to guys that look like Macaulay Culkin. No, yeah. That's his deal. But the reason that I ride with the Bengals here, and I've said it time and time again, it is like for some reason these primetime games in the NFL are ugly. I don't think I think this might be ugly in terms of blown coverages and blown assignments, where you're just going to see long plays and big.
But that's
touchdowns.
beautiful. That's what people want to see. They want to see scoring.
It's fun.
But like if you're like a true lover of the game of football, you're like, wow, this is terrible. Where is the defense? Like, cool, you can score, but like, can we get some stops out here?
Yeah. Ben's perfect game is a 3-0 final with 500.
No,
with 50
2-0
yards.
final. I want a safety, no offensive points.
That has to be a score. No, it's not even a scoregami. There has been a 2-0 finish in a game before.
Give me
Probably
like
the 40s or something, but
like a 5-2 game.
Dude, that would be 2 safeties.
2 safeties and a field goal.
I think there actually has been games with
there
2
probably
safeties,
has,
which is absurd. But so you're gonna go Ravens. I'm assuming you're taking the over as well, right?
I am, yes.
So we're gonna have our first head-to-head matchup is the first game Thursday night. I'm taking the upset just because I don't think. Well, not even that. I don't think the Ravens sweep the Bengals in this. I don't think the
That's
Bengals
a good
let
point.
that happen.
Yeah.
So they've already lost once this year, and I mean, obviously it can happen, and it should happen. The Ravens should win this game, but I just think there's going to be something in the water that doesn't allow that to happen. And so this one's in Baltimore, is it not?
It is. And I'm pretty sure John Harbaugh has like an insanely good primetime record or something like that.
Wow. 20 touchdowns, 4 interceptions for Burrow, 20 touchdowns, 2 interceptions for Lamar, with Lamar having 130 extra yards. He's questionable.
Who, Lamar?
Yeah.
He's playing. Is that really even a...
Yeah. I'm with you. But we're moving on to the 9:30.
We just send our worst teams to Europe.
Yeah, dude. I don't. This is okay. So this is Germany now.
Yeah,
okay.
but I want to. Okay, so we got some breaking news coming here from Duquesne. The Panthers have decided to, concede the season after that win because they just traded Jonathan Mingo to the Cowboys. I think they're saying the season's over. What?
Yeah, they just blew their entire team up.
I thought they really had a chance, and they're like, you know what? No,
this is an earth-shattering deal for the entire Carolina Panthers organization. which is actually so absurd because if you do like look into this, and it's so funny. Deontay Johnson.
Is he still on the Panthers?
No, he got traded to the Ravens. That's the.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's the big deal. Is that and I think this is going to be like his first game that he's actually going to play in for the Ravens is this Thursday night game because I don't think he played really at all in the last game.
I don't think so. I didn't see anything.
And I don't think Trey White is going to play in this game. He'll play in the next one. So you'll see like back-to-back games with the Ravens' new additions. But back to Giants-Panthers, if you look at what Jerry Jones and the Cowboys gave up for Mingo.
They gave like a fourth round pick. Are you kidding me?
Yes. And then that's comparing to Mike Williams and DeAndre Hopkins and who was the other? Oh, Deontay Johnson.
But you know what?
They got 5th round pick compensation.
You know what's crazy is that I think a 4th round pick is about what Jonathan Mingo is worth.
Because he's young.
No, just like I just think that wide receivers are just so undervalued. It's insane. Like
Yeah,
that's where the baseline should be. Like Jonathan Mingo, you should be able to get a 4th round pick from him.
But compare that
to DeAndre Hopkins,
who was given up for a 5th.
He should be you should get either a 1st or an early 2nd for DeAndre Hopkins. And you're getting him that is because in what world is a 5th round player going to be better than DeAndre Hopkins?
Yeah.
I don't.
Other than Tyreek Hill, which that kind of happens and Antonio Brown, which is
that's
a 6th,
a once
like,
in a 10
I get
year
you
kind of thing.
But at the same time, I think age plays into that. I think you saw because old receivers that are a decent cap hit that haven't really had that spark that they used to have, like Mike Williams, like DeAndre Hopkins, you see them go for that 5th round pick because they haven't played to that level that everyone knows that they can. With Mingo, he's still young. I think he probably has like 2 or 3, not 3. I would say probably 2 years left on his rookie deal, and then from there you probably have his option, and then you can extend him from there. So he's still young, but
we can. Yeah, I'd like to get into
that's not
that
a needle
trade.
mover though.
Yeah, I'd like to get in that trade when we talk about the Cowboys. But like going back to the Panthers, I mean,
that's not bad. Like whatever.
It's just a little weird that you get like. I don't know. Like
you traded away your entire receiving core.
You finally Bryce finally had a good game.
Yeah.
He won you like his it was his first game this year, and you're like, nah, we're just gonna trade all his weapons, and we're just gonna set him up for failure again.
Well, now that opens the door for Leggett to be the star guy, which I think everyone thinks that's what Leggett should be, and maybe
if anybody can understand what he's saying.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing too that you got to think about with Leggett is that. He's obviously your outside guy. He's your ex-receiver. He's built in to be the number 1 guy. So whenever you have him buried on the depth chart under guys like Mingo and Thielen and Johnson, there's just too many mouths. And Jonathan Brooks and Miles Sanders, who was doing nothing, and then he started to have a decent stretch here, and Chuba Hubbard, who I think also got hurt during this year. And I know Jonathan Brooks is also injured, but like
Jonathan Brooks made his debut
last week. There's just a lot of people in this Panthers offense that it's young.
Yeah, and it reminds me of that Jets.
Yeah, there's just too many people.
And that's why they had to get rid of Mike Williams.
Yeah, and it's not like you can do offense by committee. You have to have your bona fide guys. You can't just have 7 different people at different skill positions and rotate through.
Not everybody's the Chiefs, okay?
Right. Yeah, and I mean even then. You're really leaning on Kelsey and Rice whenever obviously with him being out for the year, but now I guess it would be Worthy and then D-Hop.
Now you got D-Hop.
Yeah,
when that receiver room comes back healthy, it's gonna be crazy.
So Carolina's the underdog here by 210. So Cincy was 230 and Carolina's 210.
I really wanted to take Carolina here. But I'm gonna take New York, and I just because I don't think that like I'm gonna say the Giants are like a good 2-7 team if that makes sense.
Yeah,
like,
they could be 4-5.
Exactly. This is a team that I could see like somehow beating the Eagles.
Yeah.
Like this is like.
Yeah.
No, I don't think that this is like this team made the playoffs and won a playoff game 2 years ago.
They beat Seattle and they kept it. I feel like they kept it close against Washington, didn't they? Or am I tweaking?
No, they did. Yeah, they always keep it close with Washington for some reason.
Washington
they lost by 5 to Washington.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like it's definitely and the Giants also what they did with the Pittsburgh Steelers where they kept it close for most of the game.
They had a chance, of course,
Daniel Jones did Daniel Jones things.
Yeah, and
but-
T.J. Watt was kind of like, well, I should put an end to this.
Yeah. But I'm with you. And I think what makes the huge difference for this Giants team is having Malik Neighbors, because whenever,
Oh, absolutely.
yeah, when you have him, he's the number one mouth. You get, hold on, pause, hold on, my bad, Malik. He's really good.
Very
he gets
good.
a lot of the touches, and
He touches it a lot.
Yeah, okay, with his mouth. He's the number one mouth for a reason, I guess. um, so Malik is the great player, and Tyrone Tracy as well has had a big breakout game.
Crazy
against the
draft
Steelers.
class for the Giants.
Yeah. And I just don't see the Panthers doing that much against the Giants.
I'd like to see.
And this
him
is
win.
Is this Brian Burns? This wouldn't be his first game against the Panthers, would it?
Yeah, it would.
Since he got traded.
Yeah, you get traded the offseason. He got
Alright.
traded this offseason, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's just he's not going back to Carolina. They're going to Germany. But,
Yeah.
you know,
It's
he's still playing his
against
former
old
team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with you on the Giants. 40.5. I'm taking the over.
I'm going to take the under.
Okay, I understand. I think you'll see a Tracy touchdown, a Theo Johnson touchdown, a Malik Neighbor. Oh, 3 touchdowns out of Daniel Jones. Am I really about to say that? That feels crazy.
There's nobody on the back half of that Panthers defense that is
Other
going
than
to stop
J.C.
him.
Horn.
Other than J.C. Horn. J.C. Horn cannot, honestly, a J.C. Horn Malik Neighbors
Battle.
that'd be kind of nice.
Yeah, I
I'd
think
like
you'll
to
see
see
some good
that.
stuff. Yeah, I'm with you. So the start of the 1 p.m. games, obviously the Steelers are in there, but we'll do
Mhm.
them next. We got Broncos, Chiefs, an AFC West matchup. Obviously, Denver is the underdog, and I think, as I'm looking at it, they are the biggest underdog of the entire week.
And that would make sense.
This is going to be close.
Which is crazy because they're 5-4. When is a 5-4 team the biggest underdog of the weekend?
Yeah.
That's kind of it's a little crazy. But I mean, yeah, this really just makes sense.
Do you think this is going to be a close game?
No.
Really?
Absolutely not. No.
I think Denver keeps it close. Why don't you think?
Because the game's an Arrowhead.
Okay, I see.
I don't know. I
get it.
really liked the way Baker played on Monday, and I really liked the way the run game played, and I think that and maybe
Something about the Chiefs team, they just don't lose.
yeah. Well, Liam Cohen I thought drew up a brilliant game plan for Baker Mayfield because Chris Jones was getting in there extremely fast.
Yeah.
And it is I don't even know who the OC is for the Broncos, but if they can kind of in any ways resemble that, I think Denver has a chance because this is roster wise completely these are polar opposites.
Yeah. I get you. I'm with you that the Chiefs win.
Mhm.
See, this is tough. Is when do you mock the Chiefs their first loss of the entire year? And I'm
I thought
thinking
they would have had it by now. I really did.
and I'm thinking Christmas.
You know who they play after this?
No, I don't.
They go up to Buffalo.
Okay, that's gonna be a good game.
That's gonna be a great game.
Yeah.
And I could see that being their first loss.
Because you don't think they make it to Christmas undefeated, do you?
Because
Because Christmas is the Steeler game.
No, because they have to play the Panthers and they'll lose to the Panthers. But
Okay. Okay. The Panthers, if they start Andy Dalton. I'm just kidding.
they play. Okay, they play Bills, Panthers, Raiders, Chargers, Browns, Texans, Steelers, Broncos.
Yeah, I don't know.
What? How many?
They could be 15-2 at the end of the
They
year.
could be 16-1 or 15-2. This
Yeah.
is.
I don't think they go undefeated the whole year.
No, they're gonna lose a game.
Yeah.
I don't know. And watch it be to the Raiders.
That would be so
That would be
crazy.
so
for
funny.
For them to be the Giant Slayer of the entire year. That'd be nuts. I'm going Chiefs. 41.5 is the total point line.
I'm going over.
I would also. I am also. It's tough because I know this Broncos defense is not getting a whole lot of credit for how good it is,
Mhm.
but I just think it's just the power of the offense, and
I
you're
think-
waiting for Kelsey to pick it up, and maybe Kelsey has lost a step, and we're all trying to save him because everyone's expecting him to just have another breakout game and then have 4 straight games where he
Yeah,
puts up
I'm
100
not
yards.
one to defend Travis Kelce, but The guy is what, like 35 years old?
He's up there,
Like-
especially for a tight end. Like tight ends aren't really supposed to stay in the NFL for a whole long
Yeah,
time.
and it's just like Patrick Mahomes isn't playing like Patrick Mahomes usually does. And plus, I mean, with the addition of D-Hop, I'm throwing a D-Hop more than I'm going to throw to Travis Kelce now.
Yeah. And
I
you still have
just-
your speed guy and
with Xavier Worthy.
and your trusty hands guy over the middle, which I would say is Travis Kelce, and it's also DeAndre Hopkins, has one of the best
Yeah.
catch radiuses in the
And
entire
plus, Kareem Hunt's playing really well.
NFL. Yeah,
And if they can establish some kind of run game that takes touches away from him, from Kelsey. So
yeah.
I'm not one to kind of like stick up for him or like vouch for him, but it's just like he had like 10, 11 years of
Really good tight end
really
play.
good tight end play. Like
Yeah.
he's gonna slow down, and it's this year.
I'm with you. So the next game we're gonna move into Steelers and Commanders, and obviously we're gonna save
Yeah,
most of the in-depth talk for our Friday show, 2 to 3. Stay tuned to us, and we're gonna do our Steelers pregame show.
Mhm.
But for this one, just straight up, I don't see the Steelers pulling this one out.
Neither do I, and I guess we'll get into more of this on Friday, but I kind of have to come out and apologize to Russell Wilson because I didn't like the start over Justin Fields, and he played well against the Giants, and I was kind of impressed. So he should probably be the quarterback moving forward. As much as I don't like that, but he's playing better
Yeah.
than Justin is. Is he? I still don't think he's playing well enough to beat the Commanders. But I do think that they will hit the over, though. I think that they could each score a lot of points.
Yeah, this is tough matchup wise because it comes down a lot to Steelers offensive line, and this is another thing.
Mhm.
They're rumoring that Cordell Patterson's going to be back, Frazier's going to be back.
It's a big deal if Frazier's back.
There was another guy. Oh, maybe Herbig was going to be back.
Okay.
You add Preston Smith with a trade.
Mhm.
You add Mike Williams if they play in the trade. And your run game has been successful the past 2 games that you played on the past 2 weeks because
Yeah,
they're
Najee
coming off
looks
of
like
a bye.
a first-round pick.
Right. And whenever that happens, the Steelers offense has scored 30 points.
Yep.
I think 30 points is enough to win this Commanders game.
Okay.
And I'm saying that because I know we all know how good Jaden Daniels is. He is not going to be able to use his legs as much against the Steelers team. Benton and Cam will push pressure from the middle if he tries to break the pocket to the outside around any Highsmith or Watt.
Mhm.
They don't have Highsmith obviously has more speed than Watt, but neither of them have the speed to keep up with Daniels. I will admit that. But whenever he tries to break their contain, he won't have success doing it. He just won't get around them because they'll
Mhm.
disengage, they'll get off of their blocks, they'll find him, and they'll wrap him up. And they don't miss sacks a whole lot. Like you don't see T.J. Watt getting shrugged off a whole lot, or Highsmith, same thing.
Yeah.
And whenever you force Daniels to throw quick, it takes away his deep ball, obviously. So whenever he can't dial up a deep shot to Terry McLaurin or Noah Brown or whatever, I think you can see a lot difference in the play. And the run game, I don't think will be there either because it mostly, other than the Giants game where they kind of got gashed, the Steelers do not give up the run that well.
Mhm.
And we've talked about the play from Elliott in the box and what the linebackers have been able to do, specifically Landon Roberts and rookie Peyton Wilson and Patrick Queen. I think it'll be a closer game than a lot of people are gonna say. And this is the thing, Pittsburgh is only plus 130, so it's all
That's close.
yes, it is. And the spread is Washington -3, so they're not expecting a blowout or a big
No.
win or anything. And I think it will be tight. I do, however, just feels like a Steelers loss because this is a good Commanders team and they
Mhm.
haven't played a good team yet. This will get them acclimated for the rest of their year.
Because it is
yes.
a hard remaining schedule.
Yeah, and you've talked about that
Yeah, we'll
in previous weeks.
Talk
And
about that on Friday.
and exactly on Friday we will get into that. So we're both going Commanders, and I will ride the over with you.
Yep. Yeah, I think. Yeah. I think the 45.5 is a little disrespectful,
Yeah,
but
it's tough, and they set
because
line.
you're right. They put up what 30 points straight in
in
three straight weeks.
Yeah. Both weeks with Russ, and then the week before against the Raiders with Fields, they put up 30 in all those weeks. And they're coming off of a bye, which in history they've been very well prepared coming off of a bye. But it's a different season. It's really tough to say. But moving next into our next 1 p.m. game, it's Vikings-Jags, and you would be surprised at how closer the Jags are. It's Jags plus 180. I would have assumed.
Really?
Yes,
I would assumed into the 200s.
Yes, for sure. That's
wow.
why I was with you on that as well. But they still value the Jaguars as an NFL team, and they're obviously an NFL team. But I'm saying, they still think the Jaguars
as a quality NFL team.
Yeah, I should say that better. But I'm not with them. I don't. Because the Vikings had a bad showing against the Colts. They looked bad against the Colts.
It's just, it was that offensive line from the Vikings. That in DeForest Buckner and Grover Stewart just did whatever they wanted.
Okay.
And that was telling for me, because they lost Christian Darrisaw.
Right.
And then you got to put Cam Robinson is not Christian Darrisaw.
Right.
And I'm not saying that, this Jags pass rush is, incredible, but they still have pretty good guys. But this Jags team is 2-7 for a reason. I don't know what that reason is, but they're 2-7, which is why I'm going with the Vikings, even though they haven't looked like, the Vikings that we saw the first 5 games.
And Doug is still there. And what do you expect from Doug against the Vikings defense? That's another thing, because obviously with the 2 losses, it's the Vikings defense is still the Vikings defense, and that's not going away. But even Sam Darnold is still playing very well, and Justin Jefferson is I'm fairly certain the league leader in no, it's Jamar Chase is the league leader in rushing yards, isn't it?
In receiving,
yeah, I think Jamar beats him by like 40 yards or something. But
yeah, they might be. No, Justin Jefferson is first.
Oh.
But I think it's close.
Yeah. I could have sworn Jamar had it, but nonetheless,
he has him by, if I can do math, 70 yards.
Has him by 20 electoral college. I'm just
what?
kidding. I don't know. What? I'm just joking. We had the election yesterday, so
yeah.
I had to sneak in electoral college. Anyways, that's my producer told me that I had to sneak that in. The producer is me. The voices inside my head told me that I had to do that.
The voice inside my head.
I don't even know what song that is.
Blink 182.
Oh, okay. Oh. I'm already the voice inside my head. Yeah. Inside my head. I get it. Yeah. We're there. But back to the football. Vikings. I've got Vikings. Do you have Vikings?
Yeah, I have Vikings and over.
Okay, I'm going under. This is going to be ugly again. Another ugly game.
I was going to say over, but then I'd go back and look at the Jags.
You said over.
I wanted to say under.
Okay.
And then you look at the Jags. And
they suck.
They do suck, but they put up garbage time touchdowns. Like, they put up 23 against the Eagles and 27 against the Packers.
Trevor Lawrence, if he wins this game, is he a top 15 quarterback?
No.
2,000 yards, 11 touchdowns.
I guess garbage time.
Whatever. Tank Bigsby, give him the rock more. He could be a 1,000-yard rusher. Falcons Saints.
Not really a game. Even though
week 3 this had been sick, but I guess week 3 this was sick. They played. Was it week 3? They played, and Drake London caught the overtime touchdown. That might have been the first Saints loss.
Week 4.
Okay, so it was sick. All right, cool.
That was a 26-24 game.
Yeah, Saints.
Falcons won.
Yeah. Oh, dude, what happens if this Saints team loses 8 in a row? They
right,
will.
What?
They're going to do it.
They're going to do it, but what do you mean? Dennis Allen is gone.
Yeah.
Dude is out of a job right now.
They already fire sailed one of their best players.
Keep losing, New Orleans. Keep losing. Get a good draft pick. Like, the season is over. You had a historic
2
game start to the season. That was really fun. Now go tank, get Will Campbell.
Will Campbell.
No, actually, no.
Calvin
Don't get Will
Banks.
Campbell. I want Tampa Bay to get Will Campbell.
Yeah. You know what they're saying? They're saying he has small arms. They're saying
I don't
he's going to move
care.
inside.
I really don't. Oh, what?
They're saying he's going to move
Nah,
inside
keep him on tackle.
with small arms.
I don't care. You have
Well,
small arms.
yeah,
or
they
small
said-
legs, or
What was it? Rashawn Slater was the other guy. It was the last guy with small arms that got left at tackle, and he's played pretty well.
yeah.
Because Skoronski got moved inside and other guys with small
But I
arms.
think everybody saw Skoronski. I think Skoronski was like drafted as a guard. Like I'm pretty sure they knew they were gonna put him at guard.
Yeah, maybe. Falcons, Saints. Falcons 6-3, Saints 2-7. This is a battle of the NFC South.
Yeah.
Which matters to you because you
No, it really doesn't because because the Bucks are going
but
to.
it's in your favorite team's conference.
It is, yeah. But Falcons are gonna run away with the division. Like we'll get into, I guess, Tampa Bay.
Or the game after this is
Okay, we'll do that later, or I guess right after this.
in 5 seconds.
Yeah. But Atlanta, I mean, Kirk's playing extremely well right now. Like, and then that entire offense is just clicking right now. Nobody can seem to stop them. I don't think New Orleans is gonna stop them.
And Olave, man, that was so sad. Because you know what? That's one of them guys that I would have said for the Steelers to go out.
Free my boy, get him out of New Orleans.
Or his brother was going nuts on Twitter. It was crazy.
Chris
Did you see
Olave
what-
has a brother.
Did you see what Michael Thomas was saying?
Dude, is Michael Thomas like still relevant? Like people still listen to him? Slant boy.
But did you? His tweets were going. He was like literally disgracing Derek Carr. It was nuts.
Oh,
He
that's
was, like,
crazy.
He was like actually like Derek Carr sucks. Like he needs to be out of the league. I had him as my teammate for
Oh, my
1 year and
Lord.
hated it. And like the coaches have tried to save him, but they're blaming the coaches for his mistakes.
Wow.
It's all his fault.
This is
like,
coming from a
bad.
guy who hasn't played like a full season in like 4 years. Like what? Where is
Yeah.
this coming from, Michael?
It was bad. He was like actually like
Get
live
signed
tweeting.
somewhere before you start doing this.
He was like he's getting all his guys killed. Like literally was just
throwing hospital.
trashing.
That's crazy.
Well, he was though. I mean, that's the thing. There was like 4 or 5. Like
He throws a lot of
Jawan
hospital
Johnson
balls.
got a couple, and
He throws
Olave
a ton
got
of
a
hospital
couple.
balls. Yeah.
Yeah, and then obviously Olave got actually put in the hospital with the concussion that he got, and that's like his 5th or 6th of his career in the past 3-4 years. It's awful.
Yeah. But I'm gonna take the under here because I don't think that New Orleans is gonna put up enough points.
I'm taking the over because Kamara's gonna have 3 touchdowns,
Ooh. Okay.
but they're gonna lose. The Saints are gonna lose, but Kamara's gonna have a big game.
So you think they're gonna score 21 points and still lose?
Yeah, it's a Falcons offense, but I mean it's up to the Falcons defense, who I don't think, other than their safeties, as we've talked about incessantly.
Yeah, they got AJ Terrell.
who,
That's
who
really
is like
it.
hit or miss.
Yeah,
It's
but
gonna be Kamara's day, and Kamara in I think is it in Atlanta?
No, it's
I'll
in
say
New
'cause
Orleans.
Kamara loves Atlanta, but that's not even a dig. That's literally just a fact. He loves Atlanta. All right, and then we're moving on to your team. Take it away. Go ahead. I want to give you first dibs to talk.
Okay. This is San Francisco's gonna win this game. As much as I love how Baker played against the Chiefs and Arrowhead, the only undefeated team left. It's when you don't have your best 3 receivers. I don't expect you to play very well against great defenses like this Niners defense. Now the run game has really picked up, which I'm glad to see. It's kind of a run by committee now. I've been a Bucky Irving fan since he got there. I'm glad that I think he should be the RB1. I think Rashad White is, I don't think that he's a great running back, but he's okay. I do like Bucky Irving a lot. And I like how Cade Otton is really getting involved now, and he's having a ton of targets and receptions now that there's no Jalen McMillan, there's no Mike Evans or Chris Godwin. Like, Baker's got to throw to somebody, and that somebody is Cade Otton and Sterling Shepard and Trey Palmer. And that is the reason why I think that the Niners are going to, I don't have anything to say about the Niners. I just think that the Bucs just don't have the talent to win this game.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Like, so you don't have McCaffrey, and now you're seeing McCaffrey's back at practice, and I don't know if he's gonna play this week, but he's back at practice. That was
Yeah, it doesn't
announced.
matter if you can play this week.
But like, isn't that like who else went down for the Niners? Is Trent Williams down?
Ayuk is down.
Oh yeah, towards ACL. Debo's still in.
Yeah.
And Pearsall was back.
Pearsall's back. Yeah, I think. But Jennings is he still down?
I don't know. And Kittle's there, and
Yeah, Kittle's there.
Bosa's there. Like the defense is still the defense. Why is this Niners team 4-4? Like what is going on with the Niners where they're just not like this was a Super Bowl team?
They have losses to Vikings, Rams, Cardinals, and Chiefs. All right,
Rams and Cardinals.
Rams and Cardinals. Okay, I'm not even gonna say the Cardinals game is inexcusable. They should have won that game. Absolutely, I'm pretty sure they blew some kind of lead.
Cardinals are gonna make the playoffs.
I don't think they will because, well, I guess we'll cover that one. Do they play this week?
The Cardinals do. They play the Jets.
Okay, we'll get into.
Well, aren't the Cardinals in the 49ers division with Seattle and the Rams?
And the Rams, yes. The Cardinals won't make the playoffs because they're gonna. But they played the very very hot Vikings team whose defense shut down literally everybody. So I'm not counting. And then they lost to the best. Lost to Chiefs.
Yeah.
Okay. They've beaten the Cowboys, Seahawks, Patriots, Jets.
Right.
And they've lost to Vikings, Rams, Cardinals.
They'll beat the
Chiefs.
Seahawks again.
Like they'll go to 5-4, and then they play Seahawks, Packers, Bills, Bears, Rams, Dolphins,
You're
Lions,
already
Cardinals.
counting the win.
Yeah, this is.
I
would love to see to actually you know what? No, I wouldn't because I want us to get a good draft pick and take somebody good, but.
I don't know, man.
And even like this Niners, they have to play the Seahawks, Packers, Bills, Dolphins, and Lions. They have all of those teams left to play, which is kind of crazy.
Well, this is tied for the second highest scoring game of the entire week.
That surprises me. That surprises me a little bit. I think I would still take the over though.
Yeah, it's because Baker just slings it, and I'm with you on the over. I don't know. I don't know what it is in me that likes this Bucks team so much. I don't even watch the Bucks games. I don't know. I just like the way Baker's not afraid to take shots, and I think you have to have that.
And that gets him in trouble sometimes.
Sometimes, but whenever it doesn't,
it works out.
Yes, exactly. And obviously he doesn't have the weapons, and if he did, this would be a totally different conversation.
Oh, absolutely. If he had the weapons, I'd take the Bucks.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny is my dad and I we were watching the Chiefs game. And it was so funny because my dad was like, he just throws that ball so hard. And I was like, yeah, that's why he doesn't get picked sometimes because these DBs can't catch it because he throws it so hard.
Yeah, that's what they said about Jameis. They're like, Jameis has mastered the art of throwing a ball so incredibly weird that even the other team doesn't intercept it, but his own players that have like practiced with him can catch it. I was like, yeah, dude, it's just Jameis magic. I don't know. I'll agree. I'll take 49ers. See, I'm under duress. I want to disagree, but I won't. So if the Buccaneers win, I was right. But if the 49ers win, I was also right.
What?
I'm hedging my bets. I'm just kidding. Yeah, 49ers. I'll stay with you. I'll stay with you. You're my resident Tampa Bay connoisseur. So if you're wrong, this is on you. The next game should not be as close of a discussion for me, in my opinion. It's Bills-Colts.
Yep, Bills really easily. Dude.
Indy's not even that big of underdogs, dude. They're less of an underdog than Jacksonville is.
Who just Jacksonville play again? Somebody good, right?
The Vikings.
Yeah,
and they're
I could
plus
see that.
180, and the Bills and Colts, the Colts are 170.
I don't think the Colts are a bad team.
Yeah, but it's
Joe Flacco. But Joe Flacco is like the ultimate game manager. He's the ultimate. Like he'll either give you like 200 yards and 2 touchdowns and a pick, or he'll give you 350 and 3.
Do you think that they overreacted by benching Richardson?
No,
I do.
I don't think. I feel like saying that Joe Flacco's the starting quarterback for the rest of the season. I absolutely think that was a bad decision, but I think that Anthony Richardson kind of needs to realize, hey, you suck. Do something to get better.
He sucks.
I absolutely think he sucks. Are you? He's got like a 33% completion percentage right now.
Yeah.
Like I think that.
But is that offense really? Is that team really even that good? Offensive line is decent.
I don't even care about the team. You got to complete. You can't complete 33% of your passes and still be a starting quarterback in the NFL.
That's fair.
Like that, and I like Anthony Richardson because I think his athletic profile is off the charts, and I think Indiana should still know that he was a project when they took him. Like, I had like 13 college starts in his career.
Yeah.
Like, that should probably be a red flag that this guy's a project. He's probably not going to come out and be Cam Newton.
Yeah.
But, like...
And he was like 20 or 21 when they drafted him. He's young, too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And when this team loses the next, like, 3 straight games, start him, please. Like, why are you still starting Joe Flacco? Like, you are hurting Anthony Richardson more by keeping him on the bench. You're hurting his development. Even if he continues to play badly, get him more games.
Yeah,
you know?
and like, what is he learning from Flacco? They play the quarterback position 2 totally different ways.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
there's nothing really to learn. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's like, because Joe Flacco's a statue.
Yeah, and even before he was a statue, he's still like he had a decently strong arm and he took shots down the field, but I don't know. It's just like if you wanted to have Anthony Richardson learn from somebody, and this is not obviously this would never happen.
Trey Lance.
No, if you want him to learn from somebody, a comparable player to him is Josh Allen.
Yeah, I mean it is.
I mean,
but
other than Anthony Richardson is a lot faster than Josh Allen. Maybe not a lot. Anthony Richardson is obviously faster. I wouldn't say a lot.
And he's
but
stronger.
in what sense? Arm strength? I think
Not
Josh
arm
Allen
strength.
can throw
Not
the
arm
ball
strength.
farther.
As in toughness. As in
like running through a
like
defender.
running through people. Like,
oh, see, that's tough too, because Josh Allen low key be trucking defensive tackles.
okay, I understand that, but Josh Allen is 6'5", 237. Anthony Richardson
is probably like right around the same. Maybe he might be 6'6", 240. What is he like right around?
Anthony Richardson is 6'4", 250.
Okay, so he is. A
And that guy, and that is muscle.
Yeah,
too.
for
Like,
sure.
You
Carved.
could put Anthony Richardson at halfback. Like,
Yeah.
I would. Like, you could if you wanted to.
Put him at kick returner. That's
Kickers. like the Steelers were with Justin Fields.
like that was the rumor. Yeah, that was the rumor. But that's the thing too. Just to get off topic for 2 seconds. Justin Fields does see the field as a runner very well. So the idea of putting him at kick returner is not that far fetched. But
No, it's just crazy because he's a quarterback.
yeah, back to Bills Colts. I think that announcing benching Richardson with the pretense of he is not a good enough quarterback, completely wrong. If you would have said, we wanted to continue to develop him, or we think that we are not going to have a great season, so we would like to just have him sit and rest so he won't get injured because he was having injury scares in college, in the pros. Even this year against the Steelers, he had to leave the game with an injury, which started the whole entire Flacco debacle. Then that would make sense. But to just flat out come out and say, hey, we named him our starter, we were wrong, we're benching him because he's not good enough.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
That's just like, it's going to kill him. It's going to kill his idea of wanting to be a Colt. I don't know. I think that they...
I'm cool with them benching him for like 2 games.
And this would be the second game of the Flacco experiment as a full starter, and he lost the first
because
one.
he's been playing atrociously, and he needs to get benched. I think he does, but
to humble him, maybe
to humble him, yes.
Yeah, but Flacco also has lost you games. Like
yeah, I hate that they're saying that he's never gonna come. Like, they're never gonna start him again.
Yeah,
like they said that Joe Flacco's gonna start the first year because it gives him the best chance to win.
Yeah,
like
you're not
You're not gonna win. Let's
Yeah.
be real.
Yeah,
Steichen, all right, you're not gonna win.
no.
Start Richardson when you guys are 3 games underwater and you have no real chance.
Yeah, and especially in that division, like it's just not.
You're not gonna win the division.
No. Okay, so we're both going Bills. Or we're both going over.
Yeah.
Okay. Patriots Bears. This one is
Yeah,
this one close for you?
No, as much as I hate Caleb Williams, I gotta take the Bears here. They just the Bears roster is just so much better.
I'm
It's
going
just so much
under.
better.
38.5 is the line, and I'm going.
Yeah,
under.
I'm going under. Yeah, it's just
I'm taking the Patriots.
You're gonna take the Patriots. Wow.
Because of May, and I know his offense, his receiving core is not good, and his offense has not looked great, but I think
I just
something in the water in New England.
Yeah,
and not Jalen Johnson, but Tyreek Stevenson having his blunder is just going to ruin the Bears season forever.
That's going to go down as one of the
worst
plays of all time.
Yeah,
That's so funny.
I'm with you.
I just think that, like, Drake May and Caleb Williams are I would probably say like average quarterbacks right now. Like I would put them in the same tier as their like playing ability right now. And I just think that the Bears roster just elevates Caleb Williams way more than it elevates
Yeah.
Drake May.
Brissett is still the leading passer for the Patriots.
Yeah, it's because he had like started like the
Caleb
first 5 games.
is questionable. Why is he questionable? I don't know.
I'll check that.
And
Really
Adunze
quickly.
is the leading receiver for the Bears. The man, they don't really throw the ball a whole lot, do they? I mean, maybe they do throw it a lot, but they don't have a whole lot of passing yards, I should say. Because
Williams.
he's their leading receiver with like 300
Oh
yards.
yeah, because he twisted his ankle in the final play of the Cardinals game.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't even see that. I didn't watch that game. I know they won by 1.
Yeah, he said I landed wrong and just kind of tweaked it. Good dude grabbed my ankle and gator rolled. That is a direct quote from
Oh,
Caleb Williams. But he'll probably play.
all right.
Unless
We're
we
both
see
going under,
Yes.
and we're just split on who's winning.
Yeah.
All right, cool. This next one has an even smaller line, which is crazy.
It's the Titans Chargers.
Yeah.
This isn't a very
Yeah, Tennessee's a huge underdog team.
yeah. I don't even think that this Chargers team is very good. I just think this Titans team is that bad.
Yeah.
That's why I'm picking the Chargers.
Yeah, and the Chargers are going to be able to run the ball on the Titans,
And they'll be able to throw the ball too.
could you imagine if Mason Rudolph pulls out a win?
Dude.
This would be big though, because
Put him in the Hall of Fame.
this is a big deal in terms of playoff picture, because the Chargers are that they're that eighth
They can
team.
sneak in there.
Yeah, right. At least I think even right now, looking at the playoffs, the Chargers are the 8th team, so they're right there. And if
Mhm.
you're in the AFC and you want a playoff spot,
Especially because they still have to play Kansas City again.
yeah, and they already lost to the Steelers, and the
Mhm.
Steelers, even if they don't win their division, because obviously I think everyone believes now that the
I don't-
Ravens are going to win
yeah.
the division.
I don't think like at 6-2, how do you fumble at least a playoff spot?
Yeah. Well, you do it by losing in the massive stretch there you have coming up. This one, Dallas is huge underdogs.
Wait, are we just gonna skip over the? Or
we're both taking Chargers over, are we not?
Oh, I'm gonna take the under.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. Let's go to Dallas.
It's Eagles Cowboys. Dallas is plus 270, so they're
Yeah.
also a high underdog.
With that insane needle mover to go get Jonathan Mingo.
Yeah, and this is where you wanted to dive in more to that.
It was like I'm making fun of it, but I don't hate it. Like you're getting a young receiver in a room where you don't really have another young receiver that has like upside.
Yeah, but what's the point? What is he? What is the?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Like your buyers at the deadline
Yeah,
for
I don't understand that. Like if they made this in the if they'd made this move in the offseason, I'm like, yeah, okay, that's cool. He's got some upside.
just to bench DPJ. Like, what is the point of this though? Like, there's like I guess Cooks is out. That's the point. Is that if he wasn't hurt, you could have a good receiver 2 and 3. Like
I think Jerry Jones is just trying to do something.
so that the Cowboys fans don't continue to call for his head like they've been doing for the past 20 years.
Yeah, so he can't say, hey, guys, I'm doing something. You know, it's not like I'm just letting the team lose. I'm trying to do something. I think that's what's...
Yeah, but if you were trying to do something, you'd probably. Well, I wouldn't even say you go out and get Marshawn Lattimore because that you just literally don't need Marshawn. Like he's just like that. Well, I guess.
Well, I guess you would need Marshawn Lattimore
Just because of-
Trevon Diggs just tore his ACL. He's done for the season.
And Deron Bland is also out,
Yeah, like you're. I mean, this
so you wouldn't need a corner.
Cowboys season is a wash.
They probably
regardless.
called. They probably called about him. I was wondering. I know Kamara just signed his extension. I was wondering if teams would call about him because he's a superstar. Like he changes the scope of the game, and you don't see a lot of running backs have that ability. He does it. He does it.
Yeah,
in
I
spades.
don't know who would trade for him.
The Cowboys need running back play. Zeke is in Cabo half the year
Yeah, but
doing
you're-
psychedelic drugs, and Rico Dowdle is Rico Dowdle, and Deuce Vaughn is
But you're
5'6". Like that's what I'm
3
saying.
and 5. Like it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't.
But
doesn't
the
help.
NFC is open. That's what we're saying. Like the NFC like doesn't have
I understand that, but like it doesn't help your future cap space to go
for
out
Kamara.
and get Kamara.
I'm
It
with
just,
you.
Like if the only realistic team I could see going out and getting Kamara would be the Chargers. That'd be the only team.
And they have J.K. Dobbins.
Yeah, I just
and
think that
Dak, I'm pretty sure is going to be out. He has
Kamara-
an ankle sprain.
Cooper Rush legacy game. Is that what I'm
Could you
hearing?
imagine if the first game without Dak Prescott is a win for the Cowboys
Oh
against a division rival Philadelphia Eagles?
That'd be so funny.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen.
No, but it'd be
I'm
fun to
taking
see.
the over though.
So
42 and a
am I.
half.
I'm taking the over.
I'm taking the Eagles over.
I would, before we get off this game, I'd just like to shout out Saquon Barkley for doing something that I never thought was humanly possible, and he should get his
It should be a statue.
he should get his flowers for that.
It should be a statue. I think.
Honestly, they should make that.
There's a buddy of mine, an old buddy of mine. He used to go to Duquesne here. His name is Zay, better known as Bubba, and he made a TikTok about it, and it got like, I want to say 1 million views, and it was nuts.
He kind of consistently gets like 1 million views.
Oh,
for, like,
you know Zay?
I know Zay.
We
played
hoop with him.
We hoop with Zay.
Oh, I knew that.
I used to see his videos.
I just didn't know if you remembered him, but
Yeah, I
yeah,
remember
we used to hoop with him. Yeah,
I blocked him one time.
Okay, I shot threes over him
One time.
multiple times, but
I don't think I ever scored on him, but I did block him.
I definitely
once.
scored on Zay. Shout out to Zay though. He don't know who I am. I'm just kidding. He has me on Snapchat. We know each other. We're good. We're good friends.
Oh my!
I'm not a fan, guys. I'm not a fan.
Get it out of your mouth.
No, yo. It's kind of funny though, because he was like Saquon. And he's from Philly, and he's like a real Philly dude, and you can tell by when you listen to him talk that he's from Philly, and that's what he was like freaking out during that backwards hurdle, and that was a crazy play.
It was. I go back to I remember people talking about Saquon like he was washed.
Yeah.
Like he just wasn't good anymore.
Yeah.
And he's again top 3 running back in the NFL right now.
Yeah. I'd give him the one spot. He's like Barry Sanders. He's the most talented running back. Even if his stats don't say it, he's the most talented. Moving on, though, Jets-Cardinals. I think this is going to be a really good game.
Really? Okay.
Because as bad as the Jets have been all year,
what's the spread?
They're going to start to figure it out. Arizona -110, Jets by -0.5.
Wow. That's crazy. I'm taking the Jets here.
Really?
I am taking the Jets.
I understand. I want to watch this game because I like Kyler. I like Marvin Harrison.
Mm-hmm.
I also like Rodgers and
Sauce
Devontae Adams.
and Maserati Marv.
Yeah, it's going to be a good matchup. You're going to see a lot of physicality, and I'm not mad at that. But I think Arizona. See, it's tough because the Jets are coming off of their first win in a long time, and Devontae Adams posted like Rome wasn't built in a day. Like you can't expect us to just turn it around immediately. But I think they're going to start to catch their stride,
and that's why I'm picking the Jets. I think that this offense is figuring itself out.
Yeah, and you definitely do need it because if you push yourself to 3-7, I think you're
firmly done.
You think
you are firm? Okay,
I know because you could go like if you'd have to win out at that point.
At 3-7, you have to win out.
Yeah, which is tough because they have to play the Bills.
And they
again.
have to play the Bills again.
Yeah,
and that puts them at 8 losses.
Yeah.
And they have to play the Dolphins with a healthy Tua, and you can even chalk that up as a loss, which gives them 10 losses or 9 losses.
Yeah.
So if they lose this game, it's pretty much done.
I can see it. Yeah.
I think they win this game. I think that Dak, Devontae, and Garrett Wilson are kind of figuring it out.
A-Rod.
And I think, what did I say? Did I say Dak?
You did.
My bad. A-Rod. But I think that the more that they play together, the better that they're playing together.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. You build up the chemistry and the continuity within each other, and you figure each other out.
Yeah.
Especially because Wilson and A-Rod have such a great connection, and Devontae and A-Rod have such a great connection, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of have to figure out how to maneuver that. Yeah. This Cardinals defense does suck. I'm going to take the Jets with you. 46.5. I'm going over 46.
So am I.
Cool. Lions Texans. This is going to be a good game. I'm hoping. Houston is only plus 155, so they're not massive underdogs.
Wow, I kind of thought they'd be considering what the Lions just did to the Packers in Lambeau.
I'm going Lions, and I'm going over 48.5.
Same here. Yeah. That offense is playing out of its mind.
Yeah.
This Texans defense is not going to slow it down.
This next one is kind of fun. 50.5. So it's the other game that's tied for second highest in points total.
Mm-hmm.
And its money line is Miami even. So they don't have a specific, not over under, but a specific underdog and I guess the Goliath specifically.
Yeah. And I literally see this game going either way.
Yeah.
But I do have
Miami.
I do have the Dolphins here.
Yeah.
But I could definitely see the Rams pulling this game out.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, see, this is tough because Cooper Kupp has been having such a great resurgence for his season.
Yeah.
And
then Puka get suspended, so he's not playing.
Yeah.
Which I thought was, weak.
What did he do? Did he push some? He punched a kid. Not a kid, but yeah.
I looked at the punch, and he kind of like.
He got ejected from the game, and then he
was
suspended for the next
It
one.
was barely a punch.
Yeah, and he hit the face mask. Never punch a kid with a helmet on. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, but that doesn't stop people. But I think that the suspension was stupid. I think he should have been penalized, but I don't think he should have been suspended and ejected. That was stupid.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably gonna hurt them in this game
for sure. So you were both going Dolphins?
I'm gonna take the under. That's a high. That is a high.
For a Monday night game. I'm going over on a Monday night game. And then we're gonna bring back with the last 4 minutes here a former one-time deal that we did in an NFL Weekly Pick'em that was very fun but ended up being completely dumb. So find the biggest blowout game of what you think the biggest blowout of this week's going to be.
Okay.
And if we both settle on one, we're going to make a 4-leg parlay on it.
All right.
We'll reconvene to give our picks.
All right, I've already got mine. This is a pretty easy pick for me.
Oh, are
we thinking about?
Are you going?
Oh, you know what? No, I'm sticking with my pick.
Are you going? Eagles, Cowboys?
I'm not.
Falcons, Jags.
I'm going Falcons,
Saints.
I'm going Falcons, Saints. Yeah.
I think it's gonna be Eagles, Cowboys because the Eagles consistently put up 28 to 30
and they
points.
don't have Dak.
Yeah.
So I get what you're saying there.
Do you wanna change to mine, or I can pivot to yours? Falcons, Saints. It's that's what's tough about this is because
I just think that the Saints suck.
Yeah, but Derek Carr. I'm just kidding. Yeah.
That's your argument. But Derek Carr.
Yeah, no, I will.
You know what? I'll pivot to you. Pivot to you.
Okay.
I will go Eagles, Cowboys. But if I was originally right, I want a public apology from you.
Whatever. We're gonna go. Imagine it's Lions, Texans, just because the Lions like to put up big points. We're gonna go 2 from each team in the parlay.
Okay.
Ooh. This is going to be kind of tough.
I'm struggling on my ones with the Cowboys. I don't know what to do.
I got my Cowboys one. Okay. All right, I've got mine. I've got my on top of Eagles money line. This is my my picks.
Hold on, I have 3. Give me 1 second.
I got you. I just got to talk through it so there's no dead air.
Okay.
That's a big deal.
All right.
Do you want to go first or me first?
You can go first.
Okay. We got Saquon over 1.5 touchdowns. I think he
Okay.
scores twice, whether it's rushing and receiving or 2 rushing or whatever. I've got Lamb over 11.5 targets.
Mm-hmm.
I've got Dowdle anytime touchdown, and I've got Jalen Hurts anytime touchdown.
Ooh, okay. I have...
Which means not him throwing, he has to run or catch.
Yeah. I have Jalen Hurts over half rushing touchdown.
Okay.
I have Cooper Rush under 27.5 passing attempts.
That's if Dak's listed as questionable. So, but I thought they said that it was an ankle injury, and it's looking worse than what they initially thought.
Okay.
But, okay, Rush.
I'm going to keep it. And then I have Saquon over 109.5 scrimmage yards.
Okay.
And then I have CeeDee Lamb anytime touchdown.
Okay. I'm not mad at that. And we'll add on a final score prediction.
Oh, final score. Okay.
Oof. That's a lot of points.
Okay, I got mine.
38-10.
37-13.
Wow, we're right there.
That's crazy.
We're right there. Wow. Yeah, that has been our NFL Weekly Picks for, is this week 11? NFL Week 11.
That's crazy. It's flying.
Yeah, of the season. Thank you guys for tuning in. I have been Christian Bartoletti at WDSR alongside my co-host,
Benji Neto.
Yeah, thank you guys for listening. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Welcome into WDSR Duquesne Student Radio here at the top of the 2 p.m. hour. It is Christian Bartoletti and Ben Giannetta. We are doing our weekly Steeler pregame show. It is Friday, November 8th. This Steelers game this week coming off of their bye. It'll be the Sunday 1 p.m. game opening up. Well, I guess not opening up the Sunday games because there's one in Germany, but
Yeah.
there's a 9:30 game. But start of the 1 p.m. session with the Steelers and the Commanders. For the Steelers, what we do every single week is we go through the injury report and just talk about where they've been at so far in practice and so far in the season. Just to go top down of the list in front of me, I got Justin Fields, which was a full participant both Wednesday and Thursday, hamstring injury. I'm not sure that it really matters much, but
No. But
yeah,
you know.
he'll be there.
Yeah.
Ben Skronik, which didn't even know he was a Pittsburgh Steeler at this point. Full participant both days.
Didn't I make a joke about like they should trade for Ben Skronik?
I'm pretty sure you did when we were playing basketball. Terrell Edmonds did not participate in practice Wednesday and Thursday.
Terrell Edmonds
Who
is on
cares?
the Steelers?
He's back, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. He hasn't done anything because we don't need him, but who
Because of
cares?
Deshaun Elliott.
Yeah. Matakevich was a full participant both days, special teamer, whatever. Herbig was limited. Frazier was a full participant both days. Sayamalu was a full participant on Thursday. Cordero Patterson was full both days. And then Pruitt and Hayward both got vet rest. So the big story here, obviously, is that the Pittsburgh Steelers will have their full pass rush on top of the new addition, which is Preston Smith.
Yep.
Because Highsmith is back 100%. Same thing with Herbig. Obviously, Frazier as well, who the backup center, McCormick, I believe.
Yeah, I think it's McCormick. Yeah.
Didn't actually look too bad at all, and the running game has been very good. And while Frazier was down, but obviously Frazier, with the chance to be a Pro Bowler before he was down with an injury, having an amazing rookie year, getting him back is only going to help bolster that offensive line for the Steelers. For the Commanders, though, Cornelius Lucas and Marshawn Lattimore, obviously Lattimore the new addition, they both did not practice on Thursday. Neither did Clellan Ferrell for the Commanders. I think it's safe to assume that Lattimore will play.
Really, you think?
You think? Do you not?
All right. Well,
I would.
We were just talking, and I was kind of giving you some crap about how I was going to like up GP.
Yeah.
You were like, he's not going to play because he just got traded there.
Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking that, but then I'm thinking as well. It's not like it's a quarterback. How much does he need to know? And same thing with Preston Smith. I'm 100% certain you can see a lot of Preston Smith this week from the Steelers because as an edge rusher,
the quarterback.
Yeah, what plays do you need to know as an edge rusher? Seibert, who is Austin Seibert, who is an interior offensive lineman for the Commanders, was limited. Dorrance Armstrong was limited. Biadasz was a full participant, which one of the better centers, underrated centers in the NFL today. Tyler Biadasz, or however you want to say it. I don't know, Bidash.
I pronounce it Biadasz, but
whatever.
I don't know how you do it.
Dante Fowler limited. Brian Robinson limited. Andrew Wiley was limited. I think he's their tackle. Yeah. And Igbenogany was a full participant both days. So no key big names for the Commanders. Obviously, they had some minor injuries to their quarterback, Jaden Daniels, early on in the year, but he's overcome that, and he's looking to continue what could be an offensive rookie of the year season, and most likely will be. But that's your injury report for both teams. Not really anybody too notable that's going to be out. Most of the Steelers' key injuries are going to be making their return this week, specifically coming off of the bye, and the Commanders don't have any real big names that are down for them. So I want to draw on. There was no Steeler game last week. Obviously, normally what we do is we go on and talk about what happened the week before, and then dive into upcoming. Well, for the week before, the Steelers didn't have a game. The most recent game was obviously the Giants game.
Yep, Monday night.
The primetime game, which I think we saw a good showing from both of the unknowns. first unknown was Najee Harris, and if he can continue how good his run game has been since the Raiders game, and then obviously the Jets game.
He looked great during that game.
And we talked about the injuries that the offensive line saw for the Steelers, and there wasn't a whole lot of change that we saw, at least. And the offense put up 30 points, and Najee Harris looked dominant, and he just looked like a different kind of running back. Would you agree? He just kind of there's something different.
I don't know what clicked for Najee Harris.
Money.
Maybe
contract year, not
but I don't know
extension.
what. I guess he's figuring. I guess he just figured out if I keep playing this way, I'm not going to get paid.
Yeah.
If that's what works for you, that's what works. I mean, maybe they're giving him different calls. Maybe I don't know something with the blocking. I don't know. But whatever he is, he's got to keep doing it because Russell Wilson needs to rely on that run game.
Yeah. And that's what opens up the offense for Russell Wilson is coming off of play action, and that's what the Steelers offense loves to do is work off of play action. Funny enough, the Commanders are also coming off of a win against New York as their last game played, but not in as dominating as fashion.
No, the Jets always seem to play them pretty close. It's not usually at least the last couple of years.
And the Steelers Giants game was a lot closer than I think some people. Well, I shouldn't say some people.
Well, I thought the Giants were going to win. So.
Yeah. Maybe not people in this building, but some people might have thought. The Giants are kind of like that though. They managed to hang in there with a lot of teams.
Yeah, and they're just if they had an easier schedule, this is like an 8-9 team.
Yeah.
Like their losses are to the Vikings, Commanders, Cowboys, Bengals, Eagles, Steelers, Commanders.
Yeah.
Those are all extremely good teams.
Yeah, it's tough to get through that.
And then going forward, I mean, they play the Panthers and the Colts and the Saints, so they'll pick up some more wins. But I mean, you're right about this Giants team. They're not awful.
Yeah. And that's another thing to think about is what kind of difference you're going to see out of the Steelers moving on from a bye week. And I'm pretty certain that in the Tomlin era, the Steelers coming off of a bye week play very well.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, obviously, whenever you get the extra week of preparation, you get to chill and, I guess, rejuvenate, right? You get your energy back, especially with the problems that they've had in previous years where their defense had to be on the field for, 70% of the game because their offense really wasn't moving the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're seeing more of a give and take where the offense has longer drives and the defense gets more rest. The extra rest for everyone, though, all around, it was able to have moves made at the deadline, obviously, that we will talk about.
Yeah, I mean, that time of possession in the Giants game, 30 minutes, 42 seconds for the Giants, 29 minutes, 18 seconds for the Steelers.
Mm-hmm. So it's almost even.
Yeah.
But funny enough, the Giants actually had more, which is I wouldn't have imagined, but, being how that goes. But the Steelers walk into this thing 6-2, and the Commanders also come in 7-2. If you're the Steelers, this is right where you need to be because we've talked about it so much, and it's hard not to. Is how
brutal the schedule's going to get.
And even it starts now this week, and it's going to continue on.
Yeah, it doesn't let up.
Yeah, I think there is. I guess you can call the Browns games that are going to come up as a potential chill.
Yeah.
As we saw from last night, the Bengals are no team to just roll over.
Man, if they can figure out that defense, man.
You cannot assume that Bengals are going to get swept here by Pittsburgh this season.
Absolutely not.
And it is in Washington, which is really tough because they're 4-0 at home.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the experts or whoever you may call over at ESPN are predicting for the Commanders to win. I don't necessarily disagree with that. Just to look at some of the stats, Najee Harris almost 600 yards rushing, only 2 touchdowns on the entire year so far. George Pickens 548 receiving yards with 1 touchdown. So the problem that we've been seeing a lot is that the Steelers don't get in the end zone a whole lot, and that was not necessarily a problem that you saw in the Giants game. Obviously, they had a couple drives there where George doesn't get the 2 feet in, or technically he gets the same foot twice, and
that should definitely count. I don't know why that doesn't count. And then there was the penalty that took away that Najee Harris run.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there was another George Pickens touchdown that was.
Oh, it was called back. I forget why.
I think it was hands to the face on a block.
Oh, something
was
like that. Something
offensive
stupid
lineman.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they
yeah.
did the game. I think should have started out 21 something. Like there was 3 touchdowns taken away from the Steelers, but not necessarily that they were bad calls. If you want to call them bad calls, that's fine. It's just how the game goes, and it's unfortunate.
And the Giants had one too with Malik Neighbors' touchdown that got called back.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. It's been 2 weeks now, so I'm kind of forgetting how the game fully went. But I remember watching it and kind of how it kind of went down, but not fully. But they pick up the win, 6-2. Obviously, I think to this point, you probably should be 8-0. I think we've talked about that before.
Yeah.
With they should have beaten the Colts and they should have beaten the Cowboys and they.
Yeah, I mean their losses are by a combined 6 points.
Yeah, and I don't know. And we've talked about, and a lot of people are talking about this in national media, is that now the Steelers are dark horses for the Super Bowl. And you and I have talked about this the whole entire year, is that when do we admit that this team has potential, or when do we realize that everybody else is delusional? There's 2 different sides.
Mm-hmm.
It's either this team is actually pretty good, and there is a chance because of how good the defense is playing or was playing, and the spark that Russell Wilson gives, plus his seniority and his knowledge and experience, or do we overestimate how good they really are in the scope of the NFL because they've played a cupcake schedule, in other words, to this point?
Yeah, and this is really just going to depend on what their playoff route looks like.
Yeah.
If they can get a Chargers or a Broncos, that's pretty much just a shoe-in for a first-round win in the wild card, because they're not gonna get the bye. But
well, they have the Chiefs on Christmas Day. And Santa does bear gifts. And the gift may be the Danger Russ. Russell Wilson, Mr. Unlimited, with 5 touchdowns against the Chiefs defense.
Okay, I'm going to ignore that.
No, yeah, I would too.
But, I mean, after okay, so the only realistic teams right now, I'm not going to count the Jets because I don't think that they're going to win out. But Bengals, Colts, Broncos, Chargers, those are the only teams really have a shot at those.
I think we can safely assume the Colts are not making the playoffs.
I mean, yeah, but there's they're 4-5. Like, there's a slight chance.
Yeah, but they've gone
very, very slight.
I think whenever you go with Flacco over Anthony Richardson, and Flacco looked the way that he did, I think you're punting on the season, to be honest.
If they were punting,
I think the Bengals have a better chance. Than the Colts
absolutely, absolutely. But there's still a chance that the Colts get there.
Fair.
But I just don't think that the Steelers are a good enough team to beat a Buffalo in the divisional, or to beat a Kansas City, or even a Baltimore. I'd like to see that. I think that's next week, right? They play Baltimore.
Yeah.
I'd really like to see how that game goes. I think, honestly, they could beat the Texans. I do, because of how depleted that wide receiver core is for the Texans.
It's kind of exciting, though, because they're getting primed. So the Steelers, they come into this, they're getting their juices flowing, they're getting their offense figured out. If they have this back end schedule in the front half, it's a totally different season. Not only because of how the outlook comes, but whenever you're battling with having 2 quarterbacks and who's going to play, and you're fighting your injuries, and you're not really figuring out what kind of offense you want to be or what your identity is, you have a hard time beating these playoff teams and these great teams like Eagles, Ravens, Bengals, Chiefs, the Commanders even, obviously, because they're having an amazing season.
Yep.
You can't beat those teams whenever you are not sure of your game plan, who your starting quarterback is, your final roster, because we saw them make moves. You have to have all of that figured out and ironed down so that everyone's on the same page. And I think that's what you're going to see here, is that they've figured it out. Russell Wilson is the guy. They're going to lean heavily on Najee Harris's power run to open up the offense so that Russ can take his deep shots down the field to George Pickens, or have a speedy guy like Calvin Austin break out, or throw the ball another jump ball receiver in Mike Williams, who you just got on the trade deadline.
Yep.
So now that you've figured that out, you have your team, and you have your overall idea of what you want to be as a football team. You can move through this, and now you're going to play the hardest, or I guess the hardest teams. You're going to play one of the hardest schedules remaining in the league, and some of the best teams in the NFL. So now that you can really say, okay, whenever playoff time comes, we've seen these teams before. We've done the game. We know how this is going to work. We know how this is going to look. And we honestly probably, I would say the Steelers, speaking internally, probably feel confident in their ability because they are going to see the Bengals twice, the Ravens twice, the Eagles and the Chiefs. And that Eagles, Ravens, Chiefs, they play them back to back to back. That's in an 11-day spurt. They have 11
Really?
yes,
3
11
games in 11 days.
Yep, and
That's
it's them those 3 teams.
That's crazy.
3 of the best teams in the NFL.
I'd be shocked if they won one of those games.
But that's the thing too though, is that okay, so it's the Eagles on the 15th, it's the Ravens on the 21st, and then it's the Chiefs on the 25th. Yeah. That's part of their season.
My goodness.
Yeah. But that's the thing though, is now when playoff time comes, if they're going to be in it, which I would assume that they will, but you can't make assumptions.
Mm-hmm.
They've already seen the Chiefs. They've played the Ravens sandwiched in between the Eagles and the Chiefs in a 5-day spurt. Like they've done the hardest part of their season. They've seen it, and they're historically very good against the Ravens, especially in the Tomlin era. I don't know, but what we were saying is, and what I would like to remain optimistic, but I'm not as a person. I'm not an optimistic person. I'm saying the Steelers, I've said, are not Super Bowl contenders.
No.
But this Commanders game and the Ravens games will show you if they are. So Stephen A. is going off on tangents saying how they're dark horses, and everyone in the NFL media is saying the Steelers are the real deal. And they've been saying it since they started out 3-0, and since they got Russell Wilson back playing good, and since they got Najee Harris started. Mm-hmm. And I have said to you, and I know we've talked about it, wait until they play someone who's competent. Wait until they play a good offense or play a good defense or play a good team overall in general. This Commanders team, one of the best teams in the NFL, 7-2, could look to win the NFC. Probably won't because of the Lions, and I'll give you that.
Mm-hmm.
But still, they're right up there with the best of them.
Yeah,
this is where you're going to see obviously the hardest challenge on their season, and that's
they got to play the Eagles twice.
No, I'm saying so far to this point. My fault.
Okay.
I didn't add that in. To this point, their hardest test on the season, and the Commanders just added to their defense with Marshawn Lattimore, one of the better coverage corners in the entire league,
and that makes a whole lot of a difference.
Yeah. What do you see out of the Steelers' new additions? Like, what are your honest expectations out of Preston Smith, the outside linebacker, edge rusher, and Mike Williams, receiver?
I don't expect really anything out of Preston Smith right away, because I think he needs to find out where he fits in that Steelers defense. I think that they're going to rely more on Herbig and Highsmith and Watt, because those are the established Steelers. They've shown that they can produce. Preston Smith, his glory days are over. He's a bit older, but he can still produce. I think this week he might kind of take a back seat. He's a new addition, because right now I think that he's just a rotational guy. I don't think he'll ever be more than that for the Steelers. But in terms of Mike Williams, I think that he can get anywhere between 4 and 7 catches this game. Because I was thinking, I asked you this. I asked, why would they go get a jump ball physical wide receiver when they have George Pickens? And you said when they go heavy set with 2 tight ends and they have 2 wide receivers out there, it was George Pickens and it was Scotty Miller. Right. And that's not who you want out there. You want a guy like Mike Williams, who's a big physical guy who can catch over people. I'm not going to expect a ton of season production from Mike Williams. I think his better days are also behind him, but I do think that he can elevate this Steelers offense slightly.
I'm with you. So I just went on the Commanders technical and the ESPN injury report from ESPN. I was on the Steelers one before. Mm-hmm. Now it's saying Commanders Marshawn Lattimore status is out. He's not playing. Okay,
that does change things. That definitely changes things because.
But it's still the same Commanders. They just don't have an all-pro caliber
they're literally the same Commanders.
Yeah.
But it does change things because when you expect a guy like Marshawn Lattimore to come in and play, I mean, he's your George Pickens stopper.
Yeah.
He's the kind of guy that's going to
Emmanuel Forbes.
Come on, Emmanuel. Yeah. Really, we're going to rely on Emmanuel. Like, who are their corners right now? like Benjamin St. Just,
Okay, yeah,
like
yeah.
average, like
Yeah, he's not bad, but still. And everyone has made countless jokes on behalf of Emmanuel Forbes just because of how high he was drafted, and that's the Joey Porter class with Christian Gonzalez and all the other guys, and he's
swing
just
and a
been
miss.
yeah, he's been a massive bust for them. But also Roman Wilson is on the IR for the Steelers,
Yeah, I'm not really concerned about that because
and
he hasn't
Seibert,
done anything.
who I thought was the guard, is a kicker. I could have sworn
No, I swear, no. I know what you're talking about. There's a guard. I know
a
there's
guard named
there's an
Seibert.
offensive lineman.
That's what I was thinking too, but I guess he's a kicker from what I'm reading. PK plays kicker. But so to tail off of you and the question I asked you about there at my expectations for the new additions, I think Preston Smith found the perfect home for his ability. I'm with you that he had a very great early career in Green Bay, and he benefited from the likes of Rashawn Gary and the interior guy, I forget their big Kenny Clark, those guys in Green Bay. But he comes into the Steelers now, coming off of a down year and not having as much production as he used to have, especially even this season. But whenever you throw him in as a rotational edge rusher, it's exactly what the Steelers need.
Mm-hmm.
Because T.J. Watt does not rush off of the outside edge 90% of defensive snaps. He's more of a 50% of defensive snaps guy. The other guy, like we've seen on the other side, they rotate heavy between Highsmith and Herbig. And those are the two, like 1-2 guys with immense bend and great speed rush off the edge. That's what they do.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Sonic and Knuckles is what they call the Lions duo running back, Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, Sonic and Knuckles. Sonic is Highsmith compared to TJ Watt's Knuckles. It's TJ has the power and Highsmith has the speed.
Yeah.
Well, whenever you go Highsmith and Herbig on the same side, it's the same type of pass rush. It's speed, it's bend. It's a ghost rip, which is, when the offense shoots their hands, you just duck your shoulder down under their hands, and then they miss you completely, and you're bend around them and get to the quarterback. Preston Smith is similar to TJ in the power that he has in his pass rush, and he's aggressive with his hands, and he likes to use his hands to swat away blockers or to just get your hands inside on them. Push, pull, rip, whatever. Get whatever you can do to be physical, aggressive, use your hands. That's the kind of pass rush he is. So whenever you have a guy with similar to TJ on pass rush and a guy with like Highsmith similar to him is Herbig, it's just two of like carbon copies of the same edge rusher, and I think that's where you're going to see Preston Smith excel, is that he's going to come in energized off the bench for TJ on the same side and be a similar style of edge rusher. Now for Mike Williams, it's tough for me to say what he can do because I'm not, to use the Shaq meme, I'm not familiar with his game. I knew who he was in Los Angeles. I know what he's able to do in Los Angeles.
That's true.
I know what he was doing at Clemson.
What does he do good now?
Yeah, what does he look like outside of New York? Because I think New York killed his career, and I don't think it's necessarily his fault. I'm not going to say that Rodgers did it or it was his fault or whoever. I just think that there's more still in Mike Williams. I think Mike Williams as a player, there's still more to give. There's still more production. There's still more catches to be made and yards to be had. It's just something didn't work. Like he went to New York searching for something and didn't find it. I think he can return to form like he was in L.A., at least a little bit. I'm not going to call a 1,400-yard receiving year and 10 touchdowns. Yeah. But I do think he could be a 1,000-yard receiver in this offense. And I think he's more than just a jump ball guy. I know he is extremely great at jump balls, but I think there's
he's literally just an older George Pickens.
See...
Like
That's
that,
tough too. Is like I know they're not the fastest guys in the world.
Yeah, I remember like going on social media in his prime LA and his Chargers days, and he wouldn't do anything, but he would make that stretched sideline, both feet down, corner, like right in front of the end zone.
Yeah.
He'd consistently make like 4 of those every season.
Yeah, and whenever you've got a Russell Wilson moonball coming at your face, you kind of have to have that ability. But I don't know. I can see where you're saying, like, if they try to get him targets early, 4 to 7 catches in that range, or maybe, I don't know if you said targets or catches. I think you said
I said catches.
Yeah, I could see that.
Which might be a little steep because they don't really force the ball. Because, like, even George doesn't usually have more than 6 catches in a game.
And it is an Arthur Smith offense, so your tight end 2 and 3 will have targets, at least 4 or 5 of them. So, you have to take into account the ball share and where that goes. Mount Washington will get a couple receptions. Firemouth will get a couple, but yeah, I don't I don't know in terms of Washington's defense. So I know you've got John Allen, and it was John Allen, and then they had Deron Payne. I think Payne is gone, isn't he? Or somebody's hurt. One of the two. I guess it's not. I guess they're not hurt because they're not there, but maybe they still have both of their interior guys.
Let me just check real quickly.
That's because I'm just wondering where do you see the Commanders, like where do you see the Steelers attacking the Commanders on offense? Like
Their secondary.
You think?
Absolutely, yeah.
Because they don't. It's not like they have immense edge pressure either. I think that most of their.
Deron Payne is there, but I guess I don't think. Yeah, Jonathan Allen is just injured.
Okay.
He's still there, but he is out with a pectoral injury. He's on the IR.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I mean I like Jeremy Chin. I think that he's a pretty good safety. Benjamin St. Juste I think is okay. Sanders still's a rookie. Marshawn's not going to play. Abogny, he is below average. And then they have Emmanuel Forbes, who we all know is a bust. And they also have Michael Davis, which is Michael Davis.
Yeah.
But I think it was a great move going out and getting Marshawn Lattimore. But without him, that secondary is just...
Yeah. Their loss came to the Ravens, their most recent one. And Lamar threw for 300 yards, and Derrick Henry ran for 130.
Yeah.
And
that's also the Ravens, yeah.
Yeah. But...
And, even Daniel Jones went 20 for 26 for 174 yards and 2 touchdowns.
And their other loss was to open the season against Tampa Bay. And Baker threw for 289, 4 touchdowns.
Yeah. He diced up that Redskins Commanders defense.
Yeah, I can't call him that. But so yeah, we're probably gonna see a lot of Wilson. That's what I wouldn't mind, but I think the Steelers are gonna do what the Steelers always do, and they're gonna try to force the run early. And that's kind of like the easiest mock in all of sports history ever. It's like if it's a Tomlin-led Pittsburgh Steelers, they're going to try to run the ball. That's just how it is, which is unfortunate because you'd like to see them come up or open the game up with deep shots, or they like to develop the run in order to have the play action, and you take the shots down the field after that. But they kind of changed that around a little bit with Fields, and that's what I like to see was that Fields just came out and slung it deep a couple times just to kind of put the defense back and
hey, we can still do this.
Mm-hmm.
We should probably
cover it a little bit.
Yeah,
especially with the guys that they have. But yeah, I don't know. It's tough because I think Jaden Daniels brings a lot to the table, obviously, but they should have lost to that Bears game. They should have lost that too, and the Bears are not like a great team, so I could see this game going either way. I'm still gonna take the Commanders just because this just this doesn't feel like a Steelers win, and I haven't predicted them to lose the entire season. I think it's about time.
I haven't. I've been wrong
a lot. Yeah, I know, but I don't know. I think this Commanders team is really good. I don't like Eckler. I never really have. I don't think his run game is going to do anything because it's not like he's even for his ability. Austin Eckler, he's not fast anymore. Really, he was predominantly a reception guy out of the backfield.
Fantasy god.
Yeah, and he relied on getting receptions out of the backfield and then taking it and running with it.
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't have tremendous power at the position. He's older. I know Brian Robinson is their leading rusher, but he's questionable, so he might be out. McLaurin is obviously a great receiver. I think Porter might follow him again this week because we've talked. And it's been an on and off again story with Porter where he follows some weeks and then some other weeks he doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
I think he will follow McLaurin this week. And typically, I don't think Joey does too well against speedy receivers because obviously Terry is more of a burner.
Mm-hmm.
I think he likes the more physical guys. He likes to be hands-on with his receivers, and that's not Terry's game. Terry's game is just to run past you. But I think the big problem is that Jaden Daniels can break contains against a lot of other teams, and he also somehow gets a lot of time in the pocket. And like we saw in his Hail Mary against the Bears, he had a lot of time.
Yeah, he made it. He scrambled around for 12 seconds.
Yeah, but he cannot do that against the Steelers. The Steelers will.
And obviously, I mean, that's a different kind of play. They're not.
Yeah, they're not sending the house and whatever else. But what I'm trying to say is that whenever he tries to scramble and break out of the pocket and get around the edge, TJ or Highsmith or anybody for that matter will shed their block. They'll hunt him down. They'll take him down. And he's going to have to be in the pocket a lot, and he's going to have to get the ball out fast. He's not going to have all the time in the world to throw. He's not going to have time to break the defense down.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to have to make quick decisions. And to this point, he hasn't turned the ball over a whole lot, just 2 interceptions on the entire year.
Yeah, but he's also not throwing a ton of touchdowns.
Yeah.
I think he only has 9.
Yeah, and that's what I'm thinking that this might be a low-scoring game, just based in the fact that I don't know. It's tough because I do think that Najee can get the ball rolling for the Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened against the Giants? So the Steelers dominate the first and the third quarter, and they've been doing that for the past 3 or 4 games. So they come out fast, they drive the ball down the field, and whenever I watch the Giants game with my dad, I'm like, man, this is going to be a great game. This is one of those games where we hang up 50 on somebody.
Yeah.
Because the offense was just moving. And they weren't, like, it was just a 10-yard play, 7-yard play, 25-yard play, 17-yard play, 10-yard play. They just kept, it wasn't, there was no loss of yardage. There was no incomplete passes. There was no 0-yard gains. It was just chunk, 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 moving all the way down the field.
Yeah, and they definitely should have had more points. It was just unfortunate circumstances with a couple of those touchdowns that got called back.
Yeah.
But
that's just bad execution, and that's the thing is if you figure that out, your offense won't even be the hindrance on this football team. Like you won't have a bad that's what we always said was during the Killer Bees era when it was Ben, Brown, and Bell. The offense was so great, but the defense couldn't do a single thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get into the Duck Hodges and the
legend.
I know. And the Kenny Pickett years and the Mason Rudolph years and whatever else.
And that defense really had to
do everything.
Win the game.
Yes. And now, whenever you have Russell Wilson and you have the defense that you have, it's kind of like who's going to win the game for the team. We saw the defense lost the game in the Colts game, and I would say the defense as well lost the game in the Cowboys game.
I wouldn't say lost. I mean, they let up 20 points.
Yeah, fair. I understand.
If you can't score more than 20 points, you don't deserve to win the game.
Fair. I was only saying that because you score a touchdown with like 4 minutes left, and then it's on your defense to shut the door.
Yeah.
And then they don't. But yeah, I get what you're saying. I agree with you to an extent that if you only allow 16 points, you shouldn't lose a game. I'm with you. But I don't know. It's tough because I do want to say that the defense can shut down the Commanders' run game entirely.
I could see that. I could definitely see that.
Which forces Daniels to pass. The Steelers know they're going to pass. They have all of their pass rushers back.
Yeah, man, they just pin their ears back and go to work.
Exactly. And you have the range and the speed in the second level of your linebackers to cover any receivers coming out of the backfield or any whatever, because this is a Cliff Kingsbury offense. Right, he's their offensive coordinator in
he is,
in Washington. So he likes to get exotic with a lot of his looks with motions and pre-snap adjustments and even the use of tight ends over the middle of the field. So when you have the linebackers that can cover down the field and you are having the play out of your safeties that you are, I could see this being a tight game. But at the same time, I could see the Steelers getting gashed against Tyrone Tracy and the Giants' banged up offensive line. So what can you really even say whenever if Daniel Jones and Tyrone Tracy can torch you for 160 yards rushing, why can't Jaden Daniels and Brian Robinson or Austin Eckler or whoever else is in Washington, why can't they? That's I just what do you see in terms of both offenses, Steelers offense and Commanders?
I think that Steelers game against the Giants, specifically the run success, was probably a fluke.
Okay.
And plus they had the bye to go back, watch that film, see what happened, see what their weaknesses are now. That's a great luxury to have. In the Jets game, Breece Hall had 12 carries for 38 yards. And he had a ton of receiving yards, but I'm not necessarily worried about that. In the Raiders game, Alexander Madison, 14 carries, 33 yards. I just think that Giants game, it was a fluke. I don't exactly know what happened. Daldo had 20 carries for 87 in that Cowboys game. That's still not incredible, but I don't know how. I'm not paid to know how to do that. Yeah. That's what they pay these coaches for. But 20 for 145, that's probably just an anomaly. I don't see that happening again. I think they might try and start out the run, but I do like Cliff Kingsbury's offense. The guy was born to be an offensive coordinator, not a coach. He ain't a great coach. He's a good offensive coordinator. And you're right with the stuff that he draws up, a lot of exotic stuff. I like how he has kind of resurged Zach Ertz's career because he's looked good for a nice security blanket for Jane Daniels. I expect Jane Daniels to sling the ball. He loves throwing over the middle, loves taking deep shots. And when have the Steelers played a team like that so far?
Yeah, and they have, and obviously they go against Lamar twice a year, which is probably the only guy that's comparable speed-wise to Jaden Daniels, other than Anthony Richardson. And Anthony Richardson got clamped. Yeah. He got injured, obviously, and then before that, in terms of quarterback run, got shut down. That's going to be a key point, I think, is that you cannot let him break contain. If he gets around your edge rushers and he gets to move outside of the pocket, and add extra time, not only can he run, but he can also stretch the ball down the field, and you're relying on your guys in the back end to cover on a receiver for 4 or 5 seconds. That's just not going to happen.
Yeah, and I forgot what I was going to say. Never mind, go ahead.
And then moving on to the Steelers offense. It's tough because you get Frazier back, but I don't think you saw that big of a drop off. In fact, you saw I wouldn't say better run blocking, but you saw better run production.
Yeah, when was he in the Raiders game?
I think the Raiders game was his last full game healthy.
Yeah, so the last game
he went down in the Jets game or he went down in the Raiders game, and then. Because Najee Harris has had 100 yards rushing almost in the past 3 games. So
he had
Raiders
42 rushing yards against the Cowboys, and then he had the big game, 106 and 14, which actually created the same amount of carries, but it's like 60 yards more. But against the Raiders.
And then the Jets game, he did good.
And then in the Jets game, he played well. So it's just kind of weird because he had 102 against the Jets, and then he had 114 against the Giants.
Yeah, so he's had 3 straight games now. Yeah, where he's running the ball very well and very effectively. And then the bye week happens, and now you're coming out of the bye, and he's got a chance to take the tread on those tires and add some more, or to even just sit back and get off of his feet for a little bit so that he can rest and get ready for this game. And this is the thing that we saw, we hit on in the Giants preview, is their interior and their edge presence, but their interior where they had Dexter Lawrence. That was a big deal. You have to stop Dexter Lawrence. And the Commanders similarly have a much better interior presence on their defensive line than on their edges.
Yeah, I mean, Jonathan Allen going down is a big loss, but they also have who's the other guy?
Daron Payne.
Daron Payne, and then they also have Fidarian Mathis.
Right.
So, and those two are very big guys.
But their edge rushers aren't. It's not like they have Ryan Kerrigan anymore. Or
no Ryan Kerrigan, no Montez Sweat, no Chase Young.
Right.
All those guys they're all gone, which is kind of crazy.
So then, who is their presence on the outside? I don't really think they have anybody of note because, like you said, Chase and Sweat are gone. I don't see a realm where the Steelers shouldn't be able to move the ball.
So their defensive ends are Dorrance Armstrong, Cleveland Farrell.
Yeah.
That's
and Farrell's is questionable.
Yeah. They also have Nick Bellore, Dante Fowler, who is washed.
And Dante Fowler is
questionable.
questionable.
Frankie Luvu's not an edge rusher.
Yeah, he's off.
I don't know who Jordan McGee is. He's a rookie out of Temple. Bobby Wagner's not an edge rusher. Michael Walker's not an edge rusher.
So but they have great linebackers, and that's the thing. That's where you'll see the run game have problems, is when it comes to their second level. But I don't see a world where you can't work outside your receivers, and the two outside receivers that you have are amazing at working down.
Absolutely, I definitely think that's where they got to go, because I don't think that these corners, because Marshawn Lattimore's not going to play. These corners are not physical corners. These guys are small.
Yeah, Forbes especially. Forbes is actually a tooth.
Forbes is 6 foot tall, 180 pounds. Michael Davis, 6'2", 196. He's a little bit bigger. Ibogny, he's 5'11", 197. Sandersill's 5'10", 182.
I like Sanderstill. He's a rookie out of Michigan.
Yeah.
I like him. He was a good.
No.
Exactly I was a fan of Mike Sanderstill before I even met her. He's just a good coverage guy, and he's very underrated, I think. And I don't think he's having a bad rookie year, but I could see him being a slot corner for them too. I know he's more of a boundary guy, but he could be a slot corner.
Yeah, but I just think that George Pickens and Mike Williams are just so physical wide receivers that they can just overpower these smaller corners. Like St. Juste is 6'3", 200 pounds. That's a bigger corner. But I just think that George Pickens, we've seen his hands incredible. The guy doesn't drop anything.
Yeah.
I just think that he's gonna. They should bully these smaller corners. That's where they should start.
And I think another problem that I was trying to get at that I think it just dawned on me. I think the problem in New York for Mike Williams was that they weren't using him how he should be used.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a deep middle of the field guy. He's not a route runner. He's not like a find a spot and
to
catch.
Go off of that. Aaron Rodgers has never played with a receiver like Mike Williams. You got to think back to his receivers. He had Jordy Nelson, who was a great route runner.
Mm-hmm.
He had Devontae Adams, great route runner. Alan Lazard's a good route runner. Like these guys are route runners. They're not physical.
Lazard might be the closest he's gotten.
Yeah, and he's not really regarded as a physical
deep ball,
wide receiver.
1-on-1, throw it up, and I'm gonna go get it.
Yeah, Rodgers never really would throw a deep ball and just like, hey, go catch this. You're bigger and stronger than everybody else. I think that's probably why he didn't,
And he also got the bad years of Rodgers. The bad year, I should say, of Rodgers.
Yeah. Yeah, and also I just think that he was the odd man out there.
Yeah.
Like
I get a sense of that too. Just he didn't click the way that Wilson did, and Breece Hall and Braylon Allen, all these other guys that just click
so many
with
mouths
Rodgers.
to feed.
Yeah, I'm with you. But he gets out of New York, and that's what he wanted. He even said, and same thing with Preston Smith. Like I wanted to get out. I've been wanting a change, and I got a change here at the Steelers. And I think for both of them, they're both solid pickups. But like we were talking about, they're not necessarily needle movers. I don't think if this was a DK Metcalf trade instead of a Mike Williams, I'm like, oh man, the Steelers they might have a chance.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not. And like I said before, I think he could have 1,000-yard receiving season. I don't think he'll do it this year, but I think he could. I think he still has the ability, and I think Preston Smith can still come in and get throughout the rest of the year
I could
He
see him
can still
getting
get 5
3
or
four.
6. I could see 5 or 6.
Really? Okay,
Mhm.
I'd probably put a ceiling at 4, but
Well, there's 10. No, there's 9 games left.
9 games left.
I could see him getting over half a sack in over half of those games.
Okay.
Just because of how you switch them out, and he's going to be giving TJ breaks, and they're going to be going against TJ and then against him, and something they did against the Giants that I want to commend the Steelers and Terrell Austin, whoever did it on, is they swapped which sides that TJ or Highsmith or whatever rush from. So, I played tackle, I also played defensive end. When I was a tackle, and I went against the same guy on a pass rush, or a pass set, I should say, because I'm offensive tackle. When I went against the same guy the entire game, I knew his moves or what he wanted to do. I knew if the guy was going to bull rush me, if he was going to shoot inside, if he was going to try to bend and just run around me and like use a speed rush to get past me, if he was going to swap my hands away, or if he was going to put his hands on my chest and just try to shrug me off. You saw their tendencies develop, and you knew what kind of pass rusher that they were. Well, what I saw in the Giants game is that TJ rushes almost exclusively on the offense's right side. So that right tackle was going against TJ Watt every single play.
Yep.
In the Giants game, they said, you know what? You've seen a lot of TJ on the right side. We're going to flip him now, and you're going to see Highsmith. And I think it almost immediately got a sack for Highsmith. It was like immediate change where there was either quarterback pressure, or there was a quarterback hit, or there was one of those not in depth, but it's one of those analytical stats where they didn't make a play, but they were right there, and they definitely got pressure home. And that's the kind of difference that you need to see down the stretch. And we haven't seen a whole lot of, another thing is stunts. We don't see the Steelers run a whole lot of defensive line stunts, whether it's
Actually, I don't think they need to.
fair. That's a very fair assessment, but it just, like, you just can't give an offensive lineman the same look every single time, and that's why I like this Preston Smith deal, is because you would think, looking at the Steelers, what are their needs? Offensive tackle, receiver, and maybe, depending, another corner if you don't like Beanie Bishop, or if you think age is a problem at interior because Cam Hayward might be retiring soon, and get another defensive tackle.
Yeah.
You would never in a million years say the Steelers at the trade deadline need to get another edge rusher. Never in a million years would you think that. But it will help their defense, me, because he just brings in another edge rusher to come off the outside and give a different look. Their other guy that comes in for TJ every game is, I think, a UDFA, and his last name is Moon. I think he's number 49. Never heard of him in your life. You have no idea who he is because he's a nobody. He doesn't do anything.
He's a nobody.
But he gets a lot of quality pass rush reps because Watt has to come out for somebody, and that's just who they have.
Jeremiah Moon.
Yeah, 49.
49. Yep.
Yeah, sucks. Like, okay, sorry, buddy.
Yeah.
You're in the NFL. You're better than me, but you're not, like, that's not who you want. Now,
I'd rather have.
I'd rather have TJ Watt's
Smith.
half of TJ Watt. But yeah, now you're going to have Preston Smith come in, and I don't think you're going to see a massive decline. You're not going to get taken advantage of. You're not going to. It's obviously he's not on the level of TJ Watt, but he can wreck a game a little bit.
Yeah.
He's not going to just completely 180 the entire game, but he can get pressures. He can come off the edge. He can probably get you, I would say, 5 or 6 sacks the rest of the season.
Yeah,
you
I
say
mean,
3 or 4. That's fair.
Height, he was a double-digit sack guy, and at his height in Green Bay, he was a double-digit sack. So I mean,
yeah,
I like what you're bringing up, because if they continue to do that, you've got 4 different guys.
Yeah.
Who that a tackle could see.
Yeah.
In one game, and that's hard.
On top of
and
how
quality
good,
guys at that.
Yeah, and on top of how good Benton has been in the interior, and Hayward has surprised me a lot because he was never a pass rusher. He was always a run stuff guy, and he would just hold his own in the pass rush game. But now I think he has like 3 or 4 sacks on the season so far, and that's like nowhere near what he normally does.
He has 3 sacks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not like.
I mean, the last time he had 10.5 sacks in 2022, and then he had 10 the year before that. So he consistently in his prime was around there.
Yeah.
But the last season he only had 2 in
Yeah.
11 games. But
Yeah, and he has 3 through 8.
Yeah.
So there's obviously more potential there, but I don't know. Part of me wants to change my pick and go Steelers again, just because I think that they're coming. You know what?
you're gonna do it.
Yeah.
He's gonna do it.
I on our Wednesday pick 'em, I think I said the Commanders.
I thought you said this. I think you did. You take the Commanders?
Yeah.
'Kay.
I'm gonna change it though because they got
Just convinced himself.
just because they got their 2 additions. Their defense has been obviously playing really well. I think the big problem here is the unknown. But any other weeks we haven't had an unknown. It's just whether the offense is going to continue to be consistent and the run game is going to work or not.
Yeah.
Now is the run game going to work? Can Russell throw against this defense? He should be able to, but can he?
Mm-hmm.
Can the offensive line hold up? Can
they contain Jane Daniels?
Right. Is Jane Daniels going to be able to throw the ball wherever he wants and run for 60 yards? Or and then maybe what the linebackers are going to do for the Commanders as well is another key thing to talk about. Just because of how well we know Luvu plays and Bobby Wagner is a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
But the money line as it sits right now is Pittsburgh plus 125, which is very, very, very close.
Yeah.
In terms of winning based on whatever. The spread is Washington minus 2.5. So I think honestly, regardless, they'll cover. Nah. If it was plus, I don't know. I think they'll win by more than. I think if they win, they'll win by more than 2.5. Total for points scored is 44.5. So we'll do who we think wins. We'll do score prediction, and then we will do to end it our parlay.
Okay.
So as of right now, thinking about it in my head, I'm going to go Nikes 27-18. 27-18. Yes.
Where the Steelers win?
Yeah. I'm thinking 27 is 3 touchdowns for the Steelers and 2 field goals. 18 is touchdown, and then how many touchdown? Oh, it'd be 16.
That'd be, yeah.
16.
A touchdown and 3 field goals. That's 16.
Yeah.
You think 27-16?
That's my, yeah.
You think an 11-point win?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And that puts my 44.5 total points scored. I'm taking the under.
Okay.
Be 38, I think is my 20.
Right.
Wait, 27 and 11 or 27 and 16.
That's 43.
Okay, so I'm taking the under.
I took the over on Wednesday. I'm going to stick to that. I think the Commanders win 26-23.
And why? 26-23? So you have it super close.
I have, yeah. That's 2 touchdowns, 3 field goals for the or is that 4? 4 field goals for the Commanders, and then 2 touchdowns, 3 field goals for the Steelers.
So what do you see happening in the game?
I see a Jane Daniels rushing touchdown. I see a Brian Robinson rushing touchdown, and I see a Terry McLaurin receiving touchdown, and then I see 2 Russell Wilson passing touchdowns. I see 1 to George Pickens. I see the other 2 Freiermuth.
And what decides the game? So okay, so I guess you see Jane Daniels having a good game.
Yeah.
Just like
I think he's going to be able to throw with great anticipation, and I think that he is going to be able to get the ball out quickly. I think that that's what Cliff is going to game plan around. Hey, you're probably not going to have as much time as you're used to, so we're going to have to get this ball out quickly. And then we're going to keep lulling him to sleep with these dink passes, some drags, maybe a slant, and out. And then, we're going to hit him with a pump and then a post or something like that along those lines.
I had 27-16.
27-16.
Okay. So I know mine's a little bit wonky just because, I think that I think the Steelers are going to start with the football. They're going to come out and they're going to go down the field. They're going to score a touchdown. And it's going to be like, okay. Because everyone's talking about, normally what always happens every season is that the Steelers get talked down on and everyone's saying how they're not good and, it's Tomlin, so you can't count them out, but they're not going to do this, they're not going to do that. And now they're starting to get talked up. This is their first real super hard challenge of the entire season. And I understand what that means because you're not acclimated to playing this good of a team. But I also kind of think for some reason their record is inflated because when we think about like superstars and how good a team can be, I don't think this Commanders team is that great roster-wise. I know that Daniels is playing very well.
Yeah, because, this team had the second overall pick last year.
Yeah, but
Like,
also
they were the second worst team in the NFL.
But also, Brian Robinson, I don't think is that great of a running back. I don't think Terry McLaurin is having a good year, but he's not having a top 5 receiving season so far this year.
It's really hard if you're not Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase, because there's so many good wide receivers.
Yeah, but also even on defense, they don't have that bona fide superstar corner, and
which is incredible how they're 7-2.
Yeah.
Because you're right, they got rid of all of their edge rushers. They have nobody coming off that edge.
Yeah, and that's the biggest problem for the Steelers. And you'll see sacks for the Commanders, I bet. You'll see sacks just because the Steelers defense or the Steelers offensive line
is just
not going to be able to handle it. But I'm looking at as far as star power, I don't see the run game working for the Commanders.
Neither do I.
I see that the Steelers' run game should work.
Theoretically.
I see Russell Wilson excels at throwing the ball to the outsides or to the outside the numbers of a defense, which is what he needs to do this week. I think he has played strong football. I think he has controlled the game, and he has not turned the ball over, which is extremely important if you want to win football games. I know he had the big fumble, which almost lost the Steelers the game, which was absolutely stupid.
Yeah, but
if he keeps his head screwed on straight, and he really thinks about it and is like, okay, outside back shoulder fade Pickens. Anytime Pickens is in press coverage, you throw him the ball. Don't care, because even if there is safety help over the top, it's probably not that great anyways.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Steelers offense should have a good day. It's just it comes down to how good Jaden Daniels plays. He's a rookie. He's playing against the Steelers defense for the first time in his career. I don't think he understands the magnitude of that defensive line, and I think they're going to I don't know about wrecking it, but I think they're going to cause problems for him.
Yeah, and I want to give Russ his flowers real quick before we do the parlays. Obviously the touchdown pass to Calvin Austin was a great throw. The touchdown pass to George Pickens I thought was a great throw. But the best throw that I saw him make, I think it was either late third or early fourth, was that incredible deep ball to George Pickens going down that he caught on the sideline. I don't know how he got that ball. He put it right there for George Pickens. Like, that was an absolutely incredible throw, and that really just kind of cemented to me that Russell Wilson has still got it, and he's still capable of leading a team. How far, I don't know. But he's looking very good right now.
Yep. I've already started.
Your parlay?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know. I feel like I always do overs, and I'm going to try not to do overs. But if I have 16, that's one touchdown. That's tough. That's tough to only get one touchdown for the Commanders. Tough. And it's also a 1 p.m. game. I feel like the 1 p.m. games never get, crazy. But I could be wrong. I need one more for the Commanders, and then I'm good. All right, I got mine.
All right, go ahead.
I have Calvin Austin, 100-plus all-purpose yards.
Mm-hmm.
I have Jane Daniels over a half of an interception, so he'll throw one, I think.
Okay.
I have Najee Harris over 89.5 rushing yards. And I have Terry McLaurin anytime touchdown, 27-16.
All right. So I have I have Jaden Daniels anytime touchdown.
Okay.
I have Najee Harris under 87.5 rushing yards.
Okay, our lines were like almost identical.
I have Terry McLaurin under 3.5 receptions.
Okay.
And then I have Darnell Washington over 32.5 receiving yards.
Man, you don't think Terry gets involved at all?
No, that's not what I'm saying. He's such a big play guy.
Okay.
Like
so he'll have 2 for 105 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, he's like George Pickens.
Okay.
Like George Pickens doesn't really catch anything that's not a deep ball.
Fair enough. That has been our coverage of the Steelers Commanders 1 p.m. Sunday evening pregame show. Thank you guys for listening. WDSR. I'm Christian Bartoletti alongside my co-host
Ben Gianetta.
Yep. Have a good day, guys.